Wow. So that brings us back to the stage here to talk about, basically what did we learn overall? Like, it's these stories from the trenches where you're talking to people who are actually trying to make a difference. They're applying the standards. They're trying to clean data. They're trying to impact the world around them, and to see that in action and all the challenges and all the innovation that goes with that. It's amazing to have those stories with us. So thank you very much for that presentation. Now, before we kind of go into the final wrap here, I want to ask Paul Connor to come up if you'd like to say a few words to the folks. Paul is the president of the Canadian Open Data Society, the key organizer and sponsor of this whole event. So Paul, why don't you come up here and say hi to the people? Thank you.
I wasn't actually going to say anything, but then something came to mind. I think we've had a lot of people talk very well about ways to improve our practices, our processes, our governance. But and there's even some big picture stuff that people like Jamie Boyd talked about. But I don't think anyone really set the cat among the pigeons yet. So I'm going to arrogate that task to myself. I want to encourage everyone online and here in Whitehorse to think even bigger about open data. It's now a fairly well-established practice, but we need it to become more, and I'll tell you why. To my mind, it should become a profession and then a community of practice taking on a life of its own. And our society is actually working to germinate that community. So do look us up at opendatasociety.ca and join. But that is a work in progress that needs everyone to be hauling. And finally, and most controversially perhaps, I think open data should someday become recognized as nothing less than one of the key checks and balances of our society, like our democratic elections, governed by a nonpartisan agency in Canada, or our free press, or our independent judiciary. And dare I say it, just to keep this memorable for everyone, just like our constitutional monarchy, which is like the apolitical referee of our political process, I think open data should take its place among all of these as a check and balance in our society. And given the state of our world today, I think this has become increasingly imperative. So if this, meaning all of you, resonates, or I should say, if this resonates with all of you, keeping in mind the greater meaning of your efforts in light of that possibility, please join our community online so we can fire on all cylinders. And I truly believe this will help keep us on track to an ever more prosperous, secure, and peaceful Canada. Thank you.
So we've heard an awful lot about data governance. We've seen ideas. We've talked about the big picture ideas. We've got right down into like the code level discussions. We've seen practical ways to deal with data. We've talked about concepts and how to apply them to our daily work. We've talked about social impact. We talked about the arts. We talked about science. We have covered a lot of stuff over the last couple of days. And the breadth of perspectives that have joined us both online and in this room has truly blown my mind. So I really appreciate that part of the discussion. If you're looking, I'm going to just cover off a couple of things. If you're looking for access to a couple of things, one is all the video material from all the sessions. So if you went to one and you kind of wish you could have gone to another one that was happening at the same time, you're going to be able to get that online. The other thing is there's some video on demand. There are some sessions in the app that's where you'll find them. They weren't part of the live lineup, but they are available to members here. So dig into that app. It's the Upstream app if you haven't already downloaded it onto your phone. The next thing is talking a little bit about the folks who have helped us out here. So we should talk about sponsors: the Government of Canada, Government of Yukon, Microsoft, Esri Canada, of course, the Canadian Open Data Society, the board there, the volunteers there. So much time spent on the phone with Paul and Derek and Dave talking about how this is all going to work. So and across all kinds of time zones. So the amount of time those guys put in. My own e-services team at work for essentially creating the bandwidth for me to participate. So appreciate that. The AV crew, the people at Upstream who have been juggling like a massively complex hybrid thing in the north, time zones, all of that stuff. So thank you guys for keeping that moving for us. And certainly, certainly the service that we've received here at the hotel, the food, the staff, the keeping up with the moving food in, moving food out, and keeping everyone happy. You know, that has been great. And then ultimately the delegates, you know, the ones in the room, the ones online, the people who have been sharing their ideas, have been sharing their inspiration, have been sharing what they know, and then the opportunity to spend time, socialize, expand your network, meet new people, like all of that has been fantastic. You know, I think for a lot of people that I've talked to, you know, this is the first chance they've had to get back to a summit, back to their community, back to, you know, that kind of old fashioned learning that is in 3 dimensions. So, you know, I've really enjoyed that. The hybrid model, like it does work and it gives options, but it has been a real treat to spend time, you know, with the people in the room here. So I appreciate everyone a lot of you traveled a long way to be here, and appreciate that as well. You know, the weather can be tricky in Whitehorse right now, a little bit chilly. So, you know, thanks everyone for putting up with that. So with that, we are going to say there's going to be a feedback mechanism. So you'll be getting a survey. So we're going to create a data set, and this data set's going to be feedback on this event. So when you get that link, you know, you're probably going to think, oh, I got stuff to do. But if you can go in there and you can provide that feedback. So next year, when you get an invite to this thing, you're going to see the improvements that you've provided your thoughts on. Give us the shout outs, tell us the things you like, but also tell us the things that we could do that would be better. And then finally, I wanna thank you for visiting, and have safe travels home. And with those final words, I am gonna call the 2022 Canadian Open Data Summit will be adjourned. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Sorry, big round of applause for Mark as well, please. Yeah. So Michael here is put together kind of this stand. We had a little bit of an idea for all the attendees to just come up on stage. We'll take a quick picture as a nice memory of having come here and participated in this. So if you can all come closer towards the stage, that'd be great. We'll take a photo.
I think it was actually, I remember being grade 7, it was the shortest of 3 days.